Otakuology Podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Hey guys, what is up? Jin Graves here with another episode of the Otakuology Podcast. As always with me, Otaku Mike.
How's it going?
And before we start our show, make sure that in all podcast areas and whatnot that you can find us, that you actually rate and review us, please, because it helps go a long way. And because it also makes us know that we're at the top of your manga tier list, okay?
We gotta get to the top.
We gotta catch them all. Oh, wrong show. My bad.
Wrong show. Wrong show.
Well, so anyway, the subject matter that we've come to talk today about seems a little weird and a little odd, I have to say. But I kind of saw it. Mike saw it, really made me want to see it, or really sent it for me to see it even more when I didn't care about it, and was like, hey buddy, what do you think about this? Of course, Jin Graves, being a very opinionated person, gave Otaku Mike his 2 cents on it, and Mike was like, well, you had such a good opinion on it that maybe this should be a podcast episode. So here we are, guys. Here we are.
Yeah, most definitely. I have honestly been trying to wrap my brain around what I saw. And kind of been decompressing, kind of trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, so me, if we're gonna rate,
it's kind of fell into two camps. People either liked what they saw, or they were like, "Nah,
right? Well,
let's not start doing this shit."
Right. So, for me,
do you want to explain what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so me, I'll give a few statements and then we'll go into it.
Okay.
So for me, the negatives outweigh the positives, not because of what it actually was, a tier list, thing of Mangatubers, but just the extent that it was done. I thought originally that it was just very lazily done because it only had like 10, 15 people on it.
It was like 7 people.
I mean, there wasn't a lot. If I'm gonna watch something that is like a tier list thingy, then I need to be like sitting there feeling like I'm gonna watch this bitch for like an hour and a half. Okay, like
this isn't some Watch Mojo stuff we're talking about, where they just
right.
give you the top 10.
And we're not rating like Pokemon or anything else, like
we're rating humans.
Yeah.
And their bodies of work.
So I mean, the one thing that I did have to respect though is I did like the guy that did this that I saw the video for, because I'm sure other people have done it.
Yeah.
The one that I did see, I liked getting the honest opinion on things. Mm-hmm. Now, some stuff I felt was a little stupid. Like, I understand what it was, but when you really cut and dry things, like, people bring some of their own stuff to it. And, of course, my list would have been a little different, because we rate people on different things. So, just in that aspect, I felt like it was a little weird. Like, I can understand somebody's opinion on stuff, but then the other thing that I felt was kind of weird is that like I said, there wasn't very many people to it. Like,
yeah,
I knew most of the people on the list. I knew
everybody but one person.
I knew the person doing it a little bit. I knew Um, but the other thing is, I know like 200 more people that do manga related content, and for them to like not even be on there was kind of weird, Um,
Yeah.
at least people that I know that I see them put stuff out on a regular basis, it just didn't click with me that it made very much sense, and it was just kind of stupid to have a video that was made like that. One of the other things that I thought was kind of stupid with it is why you would actually make a tier list like that,
Mm-hmm.
because uh like, to me, if I was going to make a tier list, like, we're really going to make a tier list, right? It's going to be like the Monster Girl Encyclopedia girls,
Oh
like
god. Oh wait,
two
can I just say something? Can I just say
200.
now that you mentioned that,
Yeah,
remember when we did that?
yeah.
Like, because honestly, I remember when like a year or two ago when tier lists. It was like I think it was like a year or two ago when tier
Hey,
lists just shot through the roof.
I remember seeing that one that we found about that and being like, hey man, some of these aren't even in the books, okay? And then realizing, hey, well, technically they're supposed to be in the third book that hasn't come out yet, and we've still been waiting on it for like 4 years now. So
I mean,
I
I
don't know.
gotta be honest. I thought tier lists were dead.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that whole fad died like a year ago.
Well,
It
and
just,
I have some people that do tier lists, but it'll be like, rate like food places on the best hamburger, or different things like that. Like, that's what I've seen, more food related content and stuff like that.
Mhm. But
um or Pokemon, but it's never been like actual people or whatever,
uh huh.
and that's the thing that's kind of throwing me off, I guess, is that there's not enough there to actually like enjoy the full thing, because this should have been like an hour long video, and it was like, I think
So
10 to
it was like
15.
it was like 20-minute long video.
Yeah,
But do you want to give some context behind what we're actually talking about and the video itself?
yeah, it's the Mangatuber tier list.
Yeah, the manga tuber tier list. Now you're probably asking yourself, why are we talking about this? Well, if you
Wait,
don't
I will
know
I will tell you why we're talking about this. Because
why,
at some point, Mike messaged Jen Graves and was like, "Hey, bud, let's talk about this."
well,
and,
if
and Jen Graves was like, "Okay."
well, I kind of went back and forth on talking about it. Like the next day, I was probably like, "Yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about this." Seeing people's receptions and all, but talking about the video itself and how it kind of relates to us is we came from the manga tube community. Jane was a big part of the manga tube community, and he's no longer really in it anymore. He doesn't make videos, he just podcasts nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm still in the manga tube community to
No,
some
you're not.
extent.
No,
Yeah,
you're
I
not.
am. I
Nuh-uh.
still I just
Nuh-uh.
put Otaku Mike just put out a video the other day, okay?
Hey, buddy, but you're not on the tier list, so you're not relevant.
Oh, that's true. It's true. Otaku Mike is not on the tier list, so
So
Otaku Mike is
so
not relevant.
the other worst thing that makes me think about it, because like you and I have had our different beefs with different things or whatever. Of course,
Yeah.
like, you've been kicked out of MangaTube or like put on the blacklist, like, I don't know, 7 times or whatever.
It was like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it was 7.
I
um,
think I'm still kind of on the blacklist. I'm not really for
but
sure.
the weird thing is like, our shameless plug for the podcast all the time, Papa Weeb and Weeb Family,
Yeah.
didn't even make it on the list either. So I'm like, so who's really relevant anymore? Like,
Well, I mean, a lot of the people who I think are pretty good manga tubers weren't even on the list. I enjoy Heartless Weeb, who is really good. I enjoy Marge reads manga. I really like her content. You could add Shay Geeks out to that list. One of my favorites, Darth Penn. As always, I find Meet the Weeb Family to be one of the most refreshing content out there because they're kind of doing their own thing.
Right.
It's
Right.
almost like a
Well,
visual podcast, as they like
you
to
know,
say.
I mean, and then some of our other friends, Bizarre Individual, and
You got your bald headed senpai on there.
right,
Elite Collector, Professor Otaku. There there are more than just these 5 or 6 people that were on the list. Now I'm going to state that this is his list, so we can't really rag him too hard on his list, And this was his opinion on what MangaTube is, but I feel like, well,
well,
one,
and one of the other things that it made me think about is how, like we were talking about relevancy, like how do you put people in a list and how do you say that they're relevant? One of the people on the list had just come back from a 6-month hiatus, basically. Like, how are you really going to sit there and have them on the list if you don't have any content from them for 6 months ago, right?
yeah,
Well, then that begs the question of what if somebody quit a year ago? Like, they could still technically be on the list. They're still going to have content circulating out there.
hmm
Oh shit, what's the person that um Insidious Swede? Insidious Swede still has content that's out there that has been floating out there for years and years and years, even before
hmm
I got into it.
Talk about it.
So
Talk about a blast from the past. You referencing Insidious Suite on a podcast. Who knows about Insidious Suite anymore? Or even like Fatal Ferret, you know,
yeah, but
or
I
even
mean,
like Manga Hoarder.
and that's the thing, like, like those are people that have content that they put out. It's still floating
hmm
around out there. It's always going to be out there.
hmm
So to not actually incorporate like bigger people that are well known and other things like
Well, I mean, let's just say
that,
a lot of the people who were on the lists are classified as bigger creators.
eh, I mean,
I would
there
say
might
they
have
are
been like
big.
there might have been like one,
The biggest one I think was it Omnibus Collector who was on there. I think it
yeah,
was. Which, I mean, he's been doing it for years, give or take,
right,
if he's taking breaks or not. I think the second oldest was possibly Dark Sage, but I'm not 100% sure. Like I don't know. There was the one person who he really had criticism with, I've never heard of, and I don't remember what their name was. I don't know
yeah.
how long they've been on it, but a lot of these other people have only been on doing it for a year or
Yeah.
two, three,
Well,
maybe.
the other
You
weird
know?
thing that it made me think about though is whenever me and some other people would do it because I would do community day challenge
Uh huh.
where you would pick out a month and every day you would shout out like one manga tuber.
I mean, that was basically just a jerk off session right there. Just gonna say it.
Which one?
The community thing.
A jerk off?
I felt like it was just a big old jerk off session.
For what?
Just in general for like manga tubers.
Oh, to sit there and jerk off?
No,
Are you
you
are
know,
you telling me that I'm like a dominatrix and that
no,
people jerk off to my content?
no. I'm just saying like a figurative like jerk off session. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
person's so good, you gotta go watch them.
Hey,
You
buddy,
know.
we do that with wrestling all the time. Okay, you know this shit.
I mean, honestly, like, so there were some points in the video that I do commend the person on, which we'll leave a link down below to the video. Um, but I guess we could tell who it is. It's Manga Hero is the name of the channel who made the video, and I do have to commend him on being honest with his opinion and uh, being very very real about it. The whole situation, it wasn't sugar coated really that much. I didn't feel like it. Um, but that's one thing that I do, because he looked at Mangatube in a different way. But I did after, because this is the first video I've ever watched of his, like
Right.
ever. I think he follows the podcast on Instagram. I'm not for sure. You might unfollow us now after this topic. Uh, but and I was like, he was
we'll just
talking
have a
about
video made on us.
he was just he was just talking about how like all these people are doing the same thing, and he was bored with Mangatube, or at least the creators that he
Right.
seemed to enjoy, I guess you could say, right?
Right.
And how
Which,
Mangatube is.
I mean, you can make a suggestion there that the people that were on the list, maybe put their stuff on the back burner, still support them,
Yeah.
and then go out and try and find other, like Papa Weeb, like Dad Needs to Talk, like Marjorie's Manga, different people like that, because then it gives you a different impression. It reminds me of this other subject that you and I have been talking about on and off, of like just supporting the community and stuff. That I feel like this is also an example too, of getting away from that. We all kind of do the same thing. You want to support people that are doing things like you, but everybody's going to kind of have a different story to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have that as well with some of this other stuff that is going on that's really confusing to me, but that's a subject for another podcast, I guess.
Oh, I don't think we're ever going to touch that subject. I'm just going to be honest with you right now.
But,
I'm just going to be honest with you right now. If we cover that subject, oh boy.
But that's the same thing. Like, you have that. I feel like too, on the flip side, looking at it from the consumer standpoint, because you said that there were some other people that you messaged and they thought the same thing, that it was really stupid or whatever. But then it made me think, like, were they upset that they weren't on the list? Or were they upset?
I think it was more. I think it was more of how it was handled and made.
Yeah.
Because, and that's how I kind of felt as well. Like I enjoyed the honesty, but I didn't think like this criticism or constructive criticism, you could say it was unsolicited criticism, because I don't know if the people who were mentioned in the video knew about the video that was coming out.
Yeah.
Because I can only speculate. I felt like YouTube was not the proper platform to put it onto.
Yeah.
If you have criticism with the way people make videos or do something, creatively on their channel, DM them, message them, and talk to them about it privately, other than making your own video, which it kind of seemed to me it was coming from a good place, but I also felt like it could potentially be very, very clickbaity and just want the clicks and just want the clout.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Oh my god, not that word again. I hate that word.
Okay, sorry for using that word. He wants the notoriety, I guess you could say. Is that a better word for you?
Yeah, because clout makes it sound weird.
Yeah, and I remember what we said. Wasn't like clout like a skin tag or something?
Yeah, it's a skin tag on the back of your ear.
Yeah, which is weird. But I want to choose my words wisely here. You made me lose my train of thought. God damn you, motherfucker. Felt like a part of me felt like it was somewhat hypocritical as well, because of the fact he was complaining about these people doing the same thing over and over, Some people are more about like consuming manga and buying a bunch of manga, and some was doing shopping vlogs or whatever, and having hauls, and just doing impressions. Well, and he was getting bored with that. And if you look at his channel, he was doing the same exact thing that
Right.
everybody else was doing.
Well, and there's one person that he brings up that uh he brings up, and here's the thing that I didn't understand is because the subject matter was kind of that, things that were on repeat, I would say.
Yeah.
Um well, one of the top people on the top of the list was somebody that he says they always start the video the same. It's very calming, they pour themselves a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or
Uh-huh.
something like that, and they go from there. They just kind of set the atmosphere. Well, to me, what you just told me does not fit with what the video is that you're trying to bring up. You want something different. You want other things brought to the table or whatever. Yet somebody at the very top is somebody that does something on a regular basis the same way every time, and you're putting them at the top, even though this is the stuff that you're bored with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was just other stuff. I mean, this is other reasons why, like, I don't like opinionated things unless it's over a subject matter that doesn't involve people, because people can always change and do something else.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what he wanted to see, was people evolve, and he kind of gave his critiques on how they could evolve as creators, what could make them better, I guess. But I mean, that's up to them if they want to change, or maybe they feel like what they're putting out is just fine as it is. Now,
Right.
and as somebody who has been on YouTube, we ourselves are susceptible to criticism because we put ourselves out there. We being criticized for something, whether it's not liking a manga, how you produce your videos, whatever, you're going to get it from people who
Well,
watched your videos.
and a perfect example is something that you and I do on a regular basis that, I mean, you've been more open about recently, like actually saying it on the podcast or whatever, but doing your own episodes and stuff for the podcast, like, you know, you don't like
Uh-huh.
those. You don't
Yeah.
like the product that you produce or anything else like that. And that's the thing, like, you have to understand that with people. Some people don't enjoy that. While me on the other side, I highly enjoy potting and doing extra little content by myself when I have the time to do it, and then still recording with you and doing the Pokemon podcast and all of this other stuff together,
Yeah.
and just really getting into it, growing from boots on the ground kind of experience or hands-on experience, and knowing stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've been doing Mangatuber, I think, for about 3. It's gonna be coming up on 4 years now. And I've seen my fair share of criticism. I've had other creators tell me, "Oh, your intro is shit," or the stuff you cover is not good or questionable. Why do you cover that? Cover this. I've had people who watch me tell me, "Oh, we don't want to see you. We want to see the manga," which that's kind of an in joke whenever I do reference that on my channel. Uh,
yeah.
to go behind
Hey,
the camera and just show my hands.
hey, I still like the one about your voice. That's probably my favorite one that you've ever
Oh,
gotten.
the one about how my voice sounds weird because I'm taking it up the ass for my wife.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's probably my
yeah,
favorite one.
yeah. And that's yeah.
uh,
I've had
unnamed
my. I,
unnamed
I,
person that we don't know. That was the best laugh I could have ever gotten.
I, I mean, like, I've had my fair share of criticism. You've had your fair share of criticism when you did MangaTube as well. I feel like MangaTube goes through very much ebbs and flows when it comes to creators and what people do. it does become, I feel like it does become very fad based sometimes when you see somebody put out a video like oh, I bought all this blind box stuff, like manga, like one of my favorite creators I love to watch, Manga Sloth. I feel like Manga Sloth hasn't learned his lesson when he goes to the right stuff blind box section. Let's just be honest, he's gotten burned 3 times, I think. um
Getting the
but he
same
got,
stuff.
yeah, getting the same stuff or like shitty stuff, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause let's be honest, the right stuff blind box isn't really good anymore. They used to be good, but now they're not really. The anime stuff is okay, but with manga, it's just shit that nobody wants anymore.
Mm. Well, it's
um,
because you got to clear it out before we
to
get
get more
new.
shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh, but, you know, I see MangaTube as, you know, which we've heard this argument before. We've heard the argument that MangaTube is not original anymore. We've heard the thing where people have said MangaTube has a glass ceiling. It has a glass ceiling only for those creators who can't come up with things to talk about.
Well, I think it has a glass ceiling too for people that have put one there.
Yeah.
I think if you're enjoying what you put out, you're making it more so for you and for somebody else's enjoyment, and you really don't give a fuck about what other people think about it. You just
Yeah.
want to make it, and as long as one person enjoys it, then you really don't care. Somebody like that, the sky is the limit. There's no glass ceiling. They're not
Yeah.
ever going to stop because they enjoy it. Kind of like you and I, even though we have a bad week, a bad month, or whatever on views or listens or whatever on the podcast, we're like, hey, it's like our 9 to 5 job. Hey, I'll talk to you next Saturday. Hey, let's do a show. Pokemon. We don't have very many of those. Let's do another one. Let's put it out. Like you do it because
Yeah,
you have
let's
a
let's
passion.
let's 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 restructure things, you know, things like that, you know.
Yeah.
Um
I mean,
and
you work at them, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I mean,
yeah.
but you have fun with it, like. And I think that's really kind of the funny thing, like when you and I record together or whatever versus me alone, is uh you and I are having a good time, we're hanging out, we're doing all this other stuff. It's not really we're recording a show for people. It's
Yeah.
you and I talking about a subject that we would have went to a bar, got a couple of cheeseburgers, and sat there and laughed our asses off talking about random shit we watched on the internet.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And one thing that, I mean, I kind of feel like we're possibly adding to this, um because we are talking about it, because I did mention that I'm not a big fan of the tier lists. And I didn't want this to become a thing within MangaTube. 'Cause to be honest, hold on, sorry. To be honest,
Tell your wife to back off a little bit.
sorry. I I used to see this a lot in the AniTube community or the AnimeTube community, where
Right.
content creators would rank people and other content creators, and be like, you know, they're shit. This is why they're shit. That's what it honestly kind of reminded me of. And that's one thing that I didn't want the MangaTube community to go down this road. I did not want this to become the new fad, the new beanie babies, as we like to say. Because let's be honest, MangaTube does go through fads when it comes to creating content sometimes. 1 minute a video is hot, 1 minute that type of video is shit, you know. Let's be honest, you know. And
This is true.
a lot of other manga tube channels are different, you know. You have ones that grow slower and ones that shoot to the moon real fast, you know. Uh Sometimes videos hit, sometimes videos don't hit. Like with me, um I'm different than a lot of other channels. Like a lot of my manga hauls, which should get a lot of views, get maybe 4, 5, 600 views, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't reach the thousands. I don't know if I ever have. It could be the way I do my manga hauls, or what I get, I don't know, or how I title my videos or put tags in. But what I am known for is doing manga first impressions and talking about a manga that I've recently read or reviewed, Those are the videos that usually work for me. That's why I have a lot of those videos on my channel. Now, some of them are duds. Some of them get over 14,000, 15,000 views, It all
Right.
depends on what you talk about. But I don't feel like you need to cater your content to other content creators, to be honest.
Very
Like,
true.
you're going to find your niche in Mangatube, and that's going to be okay. I mean, I could equate this to do you remember of course you have to remember, because you were kind of the one who started this movement. Do you remember the quality versus quantity controversy / debate that happened a couple years ago on MangaTube?
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about that and how that
It was like
rolled
3 years
out?
ago. It was
Can
like
you
three
kind of
years
talk?
ago.
Can you kind of talk about that and how it rolled out and what happened in the blow up? Because I don't think a lot of newer manga tubers remember that happening.
I feel like you just try to low blow me, boy. Shit.
Because that's what this kind of reminds me of a little bit.
Of putting out a little simple video and then it just
Blowing up, but talking about people's quality in their videos.
So there are some manga tubers at the time that would talk about, like, if you don't have great quality stuff, like if your stuff isn't HD, what is it, 1020?
HT, whatever, 4K, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it was, before. If you didn't have that, and all you had was like a flip phone to record on or anything else like that, like there wasn't any point of you making videos or anything if you just kind of wanted to record you buying some manga or whatever. Like, you didn't need to do that because it was kind of pointless, kind of meaningless.
Uh-huh.
It was a thing, and that's how it kind of came out of quality versus quantity. Of, well, if you're doing more videos like I was, I didn't edit, I tried to do it all on the first take, things like that. Was it more, the quality or the quantity of it? Also, a thing that I feel like could go with mine and Mike's bickering of Gundams models and stuff. I
We
like to
won't go
go.
there at this moment.
I like
We
to
won't
go
go there at
through
this
a lot
moment.
of them fast. I like to create my videos. I like to record podcasts. I like to have kind of a stash, a build up, something like that, knowing and keep adding to it, that a way, even if I need to take a break or whatever, there's still stuff that's flowing into it. I won't have to worry about it. Or do I want to take the time that it takes me to edit a video where I want to make it look super crisp. I want it to look super good. I want to edit it down to there are no ums, there are no these, whatever. There is no pause. There is nothing that could be viewed as any sort of a blemish on a video.
You have good lighting.
Yeah, I mean that's kind
Yeah.
of what it all came down to. Do you focus on a video for a week, making sure that it's like a polished turd, or do you just take a whole bunch of shit and throw it out there into the universe for people to watch? a video
Yeah.
every day of the week or something like that. Um, that's kind of where the whole thing came about, and this also makes me think where everybody had fucking purple lights for a little while too, like
like the
um
LED lights.
yeah, the LED purple lights, like everybody had LED purple lights in the background. And you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Um, so that was kind of the thing that really kicked a bunch of this off. Is just a simple video, nothing that was supposed to do it, and it just kind of blew the door wide open on a lot of other creators thinking that, hey, they were going to get attacked, or this is their style of doing things, or whatever. It just
It
really
blew up.
just like it blew up, and it took a weird turn of events on a lot of different things.
And a lot of well, there were a lot of people that did quit or leave MangaTube for a good time, you know.
Right,
A lot of people got worried about their quality of their videos.
right,
Like I remember somebody saying one time, if you're not growing in MangaTube or on YouTube, you should just quit, you know.
right,
You should just quit cuz I mean a lot of times um in that time a lot of us really wanted to get like we all wanted to get that brass ring, which I've kind of talked about before, where we wanted to get everybody wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers at the time.
that's true.
And once you got to 1,000 subscribers, you were kind of like on a different tier level at that time.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And because everybody also wanted to get monetized and get the sponsorships and this and that and blah blah blah, everybody wanted that, and it kind of caused like this weird rift in the manga community,
it's
which
true.
I don't think it's bad if you want to take the time to make a good video. I don't. But
Right,
if you have a different way about doing stuff, that's perfectly fine. Like I don't really edit that I don't really edit my videos that much.
right,
I think I think from what people have told me, the people who enjoy my videos, they enjoy it because of me and how
right.
silly or whatever stupid shit I say, you know?
Same reason why
Or
people enjoy the podcast.
and like I mean, have I lost viewers? Yeah, my channel will shoot up sometimes, my channel will dip, depends, I don't release a video each week. I don't maybe I'll only release one video or two videos a month, you know, I mean, it's just YouTube or MangaTube is different for everybody, and that is okay. That is okay. You know, we don't have to be worried about anymore what other people are doing and how successful those other people are. If those people become successful, good for them. Clap, congratulate them for reaching a certain milestone and be happy for them. Because honestly, if this starts to pick up in this particular way, which I kind of felt like the video was a little bit mean spirited, a little bit at a
Yeah,
certain part in the video, towards the end a little bit, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because of what I've seen in MangaTube and how people p- people started to come at each other for
right,
stupid shit. There were lines in the sand drawn, and if you associated with said person, that was the end of you being in the manga community.
right,
All because of what somebody said.
right.
And that's
Without
just their
without having
opinion.
evidence.
That's just their opinion. Like, we could reference another quick scandal. Mangatube is dead. You know,
Oh
Mangatube
my
is
god.
dead. You know
Oh my
how that
god.
how that shit blew up. You know, but like it's just these weird things that happened. You know, and I don't think ranking your fellow manga tuber is really a good idea. And I hope this does not catch on. I really don't. But
That's true.
I can't be mad at the situation because he decided to think out of the box a little bit, you know.
Right.
I can't be mad at him. You know, they are his opinions and that is perfectly fine. You know, I do find it odd that people are kind of glorifying it in a certain way.
Yeah.
It seems like in the comment section some people have more of a different opinion. It's kind of very split down the middle, it seems like. But hey, it's not for me, and and that's okay. I mean,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. I mean,
That
I just
that
feel
stuff
like,
happens.
I mean, I feel like when you start doing this kind of stuff, you do kind of divide the manga community. Like, it's okay to have a difference of opinion. It really is. But when you can't have a civil conversation with somebody and like have a discussion, and then
Right.
after that discussion, you're not ripping each other's faces off and you're still friends. You're still friends, and that's okay. you know?
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to add
But
anything to this.
no, I mean, I agree with what you said. Basically that um, you are put onto a media form where anything that you portray, anything that you do, the people you support. I mean, a lot of things happen out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing up one other example of things that you and I have currently went through is
Oh no.
actually going through and seeing people that don't support us and really standing by the whole thing that we've said before and nipping into the butt that why do we want to support anybody that really doesn't support us? It's a give and take thing, and so you can have that stuff that you enjoy, but it's going to come around at some point,
Mm-hmm.
because the way that I feel like you have to view it is we all do have money or time or whatever throughout the day that we have, and you can either invest in somebody else's bank or you can invest in your bank, and it depends on the time you put into it. So I mean that's just another thing that I feel like, you know, you and I invest in ourselves a lot trying to make sure that we're going forward and doing all this, and other people that we did want support or anything else like that kind of really pulling back on that because it's not mutual. We're not getting that either. So, um, you know, it's just a thing like that. So,
Yeah, I love supporting creators and spreading their videos around, and telling people, hey, go watch this person. They're kind of cool. Watch this person. And whatnot. And, their MangaTube is because I saw a couple of comments in the thing where they're saying MangaTube is so small. MangaTube is so small. It's so niche community. Yes, we are a niche community, but MangaTube has grown. MangaTube has grown so much that we don't know who is in the MangaTube community anymore. Like it's that hard.
well,
I feel like it's that hard to say.
well, and to build off of that and what I said, the reason why people view the manga community as small because there have been a couple times where I me and Mike both could have probably counted up to 300, 500 people that put out manga related content.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is the support. We all have the same thing that we enjoy: manga, anime. If you're Naruto person, a Dragon Ball Z person, Shoujo Beats, I mean, whatever. That's the thing. It's the support of the full whole of you liking these things and supporting people, and until they do something to actually um, lose your gaze or whatever, then
which is
you
gonna
know,
happen. It's gonna
yeah,
happen. Then you go back and you find those people again. You're like, oh man,
right. Well,
it's
I
like
mean, but that's the problem, though. What I'm saying is like sometimes it gets too far where the people that you did support, that you've pulled your support away from, everybody might have done that at one point,
yeah,
and now that person no longer makes content.
yeah,
They've lost the support, the favor, and whatnot, things like that, and that's just something that I feel like a lot of people have to understand and get over. Is we're all kind of doing the same thing, and finding new people, finding a new conversation to talk about, maybe having a different persona or whatever of talking to people about it is totally, you know, great. I love getting in an anime manga argument with a friend, and at the end of it, us going, "Oh, I agree to disagree, but that one time, I'll give you this win, but you won the other one, so
yeah, yeah,
um, I mean, stuff like that.
yeah.
So
True, true. You know, but I hope I hope things are successful for this guy. I hope he doesn't really get any much backlash for what he put out. And but I don't want this to be a thing. Oh
yeah,
God, I do not want this to be a
well,
thing.
so the cool thing is this actually made me want to watch a few of his other videos.
Uh huh.
Um, so it was kind of an insight into actually getting to know this guy a little better through his
Uh
videos, what other
huh.
content that he's made before.
Yeah.
Um, I, I mean, yeah, I think there's more content that can come out that is going to be amazing and whatnot. Just I didn't like the tier list thing, so
That just rubbed me the wrong way.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, as always, guys, thanks for listening to the podcast, checking out this episode. We will catch you on another episode. As always, see you next Tuesday. And remember, Mike's always going to be the bottom.